Hello, everyone, and welcome to a very special edition of Podnuts Pro. I'm your host, Marvin B., coming at you live from Fort Lauderdale. We are not on at the usual time. This is a 4 p.m. Eastern start. And the reason is I wanted to fill the gap because originally there was supposed to be some summer tech series guests that were going to be coming on at the 4 p.m. slot in matinee shows, but because of reasons, some of them on my end, some of them on their end, a couple of those shows got canceled and moved. But I still wanted to get on because we are just 2 weeks away from the summer tech series giveaway, and I wanted to spend a little time and go a little bit more into detail about that giveaway, partly because I don't have a lot of time to do it during the show. And I also know that some of the listeners, especially if you're audio only listeners, you may look at the title of the show and decide, I'll listen to that later. So I have a feeling that there have been some people that have missed out. And hopefully, by seeing the title of this special podcast, they'll head over to the website and check on the STS Giveaway tab, or you can go to podnutspro.com/STS. STS stands for Summer Tech Series, and it will move you over to the giveaway page. And I wanted to give a little bit more detail about the prizes that we'll be handing out in the way that you would submit your entry. I'm also going to spend a little time talking about TechCon Unplugged coming up this September in Chicago. I have a couple of updates that I'm going to give about my own tech experiences. Some of you have said that, Marvin, hey, why don't you tell us more about what you do? And I'm not really a great storyteller. I've said that before. I'm not a comedian to keep you laughing and stitches at my stuff, but I think you guys might like to hear a couple of things. And then we've got, let's see, I've got some stuff on Synology and a update from NetAlly and an IO Gear DisplayPort KVM that I just recently used. And it's interesting. It's a very nice switch, very expensive switch. Wasn't quite thrilled with it. So let's go back and start real quick. Let me get the TechCon Unplugged pitch out of the way. Our good friends over at MSP Unplugged, Jeff, John, and Paco, are putting this event on September 17th through the 19th in Chicago. It is at the Aloft Chicago O'Hare. The ticket price for the event, $199, and that is not only the price of admission for the conference, that also includes your food. Now, travel and lodging are separate, so you will have to pay to get there and pay to sleep while you're there. But all of the sessions and all of the food that you'll be getting, including the after hours dinners on both Friday and Saturday night, are included. I do have to say this, if you are not a part of the MSP Unplugged Facebook group and you haven't yet figured out that there is now a super secret code to the hotel, I will explain to you that if you just try to click on the link at the TechCon Unplugged page and go book your room, it's going to say that the hotel is full. It is not. Apparently, there were X number of rooms allocated for the conference. Those got full, but there's still room at the conference. So if you go and purchase your ticket, you will need to either email the salesperson there, Christina Sposata, at aloftchicagoo'hare.com. I will have that in the show note. Or if you just want to call the hotel directly, don't click reservations, click on sales and try to get Christina or somebody there. Let them know that you are going to be an attendee of the TechCon Unplugged conference and you need a room. And that's how they take care of you. So just want to make sure everybody had the super secret decoder for getting a room at the conference. And let's see, so if you go to the page, you'll see all the information there. You'll see the schedule. You see other sponsors. There's some great workshops going. The Microsoft 365 Boot Camp was added on Friday afternoon. So if you get there early, you can attend that. I think there's only 50 seats available for that, and I do not know if they're full. So you may want to check with Jeff, John, or Paco and find out about that. Some other sessions there. There's going to be a session on understanding and improving management of cybersecurity risk. That is a huge thing that we are all dealing with. Well, we should be dealing with in terms of protecting our customers and also protecting ourselves, as the ransomware people are now going after managed service providers, IT professionals, because they know that we hold the keys to the kingdom when it comes to our clients' information. There is going to be sessions on best practices, lessons, and stories on how to cover your behind. So, all the things that we as business owners and technicians do to cover ourselves, some of the people there presenting will be doing that. And then a session on how to get business clients. I will be there, just to let you know. And I will see you all. I'm getting in Friday. I don't remember the time. I think it's in the early afternoon. And I am staying through to Monday morning. So we will be hanging out Sunday night. So that should be good. Hello, Charles, in the chat there. Let's go ahead and let me do the STS giveaway, because I want to make sure that we get that so I don't get too far along. So the Summer Tech Series giveaway, just something that we decided to do and say thank you to the listeners, especially those of you who have been hanging on. I have now been doing this almost 5 years. So it has been kind of interesting for the transition there. And I just wanted to, as we start to get listeners who will give donations, patrons who will do a subscription, I want to find a way to give back. So when we get a little bit of money, when we get, vendors and people that will actually sponsor stuff, we're going to do that. So that is what the Summer Tech Series giveaway is about. I'm trying to open up a screen here so I can show you what we'll be doing. So first of all, part of that giveaway, and here's the prizes for it. So there are going to be at least 2 Amazon gift cards, $50 each. And the reason I say at least 2, because those are being provided by Pulsar 360. Some of you may remember our good friend Paul Mendiola. When he left Freedom Voice, he went over to Pulsar 360. I have one of their phones here at my office. I just have not installed at any clients yet. The phone works good. Dashboard seems easy enough once you get to know it. No super hard training course. The quality is good on the service so far, and I like it. So Pulsar 360, Paul is big in working with the MSP community, IT professional community. So they are giving 2 of the $50 Amazon gift cards. There might be more. I don't know yet, but at least 2 of those. One of our good friends, a listener, is donating a unboxed, unused Arachnus 110 firewall router. And those of you that have been paying attention and know that I'm a big Arachnus user, I use their switches, I use other Snap AV products. So Chris over at Digital Micro is going to be donating that. That is a couple $100, folks. So not cheap, especially since you're not paying for tickets. So that is going to be one of the things. So also, you guys know that I'm a member of ASCII, and we do a lot of stuff in promoting ASCII. Alan Weinberger was on the show about a month ago promoting his book that he did, The Doctor's In, Treating America's Greatest Cybersecurity Threat, a Substantial Risk to Your Life, Liberty, and the Pursuit of Happiness in the Digital Age. He is going to be giving away 2 signed copies of this book. It's not a big book, but it is a good read. I have a copy. You should get it just to have it and, get his insights on what he has learned from talking with some of the other MSPs in industry, looking at it from a customer point of view and how things are going in the digital age. So 2 books from Alan, The Doctor's In. And now Net Ally. So most of you know I have really had a long running bro fair with Net Ally back when they were Flute, and then they become Net Scout. But now Net Ally. So they are going to actually be coming on as some sort of official sponsor slash affiliate of the show. You know, I did go away from sponsors because I didn't want this to be something where listeners thought that I would be pitching particular products just because they're a sponsor. We haven't done that. Not only do I talk about the tools that I do use, I talk about tools that I don't use. But NetAlly has been so gracious in supporting me. And when I asked them to do this, they literally said they would do that. So there is the ding that you have there, and they are going to be giving a Link Sprinter. So if you know anything about the tools, the Link Sprinter Pro, the one that they're going to be giving is the 300. So it is just a little, just to show you, if you're looking off to the side of the screen and you're looking, it just fits in the palm of the hand. Now I still have the old yellow color, but the new ones are going to be green with their new product. This is something that if you have a go bag, you just keep it in the go bag. And if you're on site and you need to quickly troubleshoot a cable at a workstation or a switch or something and find out if there's connectivity, this is good. I mean, it literally will test in 10 seconds. You just stick the cable in, it's going to go through its test. It's going to get an IP address, DNS. It's going to try to get out to the internet, and it's going to let you know if the cable has PoE on it. And that is a very good first line tool for technicians to have. Now, of course, there's other tools out there that we talk about, but NetAlly is going to be giving away one of these free. That is basically a $400 gift, folks. So that is going to be good. I think that is a great gift. Now, in order for you to qualify to get one of these gifts, all you have to do is head over to podnutspro.com/STS and get to the Summer Tech Series giveaway. And I'm going to grab a web page here so that you can see it for those of you that are watching. But podnutspro.com/STS. I will share the screen here for those of you watching and just let you know how easy it is. Basically, all you have to do is put in your name and email address. And then the hardest part of it, I think, is clicking the I agree to the official rules. And listen, folks, because it's a giveaway and because it's Florida, there's really no big rules. I just have to say that, must be 18 years of age or older. The winner will be picked by a random drawing, and we are going to do that with the Wheel of Names. So it is going to be live on the air on September 1st. I will have everybody's name in there. We will spin the wheel, and you will see who the winners are live. And then I put some notes on here that, listen, you're not going to be put on an email list. You're not going to be spammed by me or by Podnuts in any form or fashion. I don't do that. Somebody else might, but I don't. We get the name and email address simply for the reason of letting you know if you're a winner, contacting you, and figuring out how we're going to get the prize to you. That's pretty much it. Now, I may respond because one of the things I have asked is, would you mind helping me improve the podcast? And then if you open up the screen, there's a couple of other questions, and they're real simple questions. How did you find the podcast? What are 2 or 3 things that you like about the podcast? What are 2 or 3 things we can do to improve the podcast? And then I put a special extra thing in there about, have you noticed anything new in the show notes this year? And I have to say, nobody's gotten the answer right yet. So I may have to rethink what I'm going to do there. That was going to be an extra special drawing for those people that were able to guess that. But apparently that has not been that easy. So again, folks, super easy. You don't have to fill out the questions. Don't think that I'm demanding that or trying to sucker anybody or anything like that. You can. I would hope that you would. It helps to let me know what people are thinking because, as I mentioned, probably a year or so ago, this show is for you. And when I took over the show, when I brought the show back in 2016, it was to keep this particular type of show going where it was techs helping techs, those that are moving from residential to business, those are trying to get or start an MSP, those are trying to grow an MSP, those who need help with business IT support. That was what this show is about. And listen, you guys know I'm the man in the van. I ain't got 20 or 30 techs working for me. I don't have a ton of business, but I think I have a good business. So I have some good stuff, but there are other people in the community that I have been able to talk to and interview, have conversations with, that the goal here is for all of us to help each other. There's enough business to go around that we are not going to be stepping on each other's toes. So, and just to let you know that I've gotten some good information, here's 3 random entries that I took out of there. I won't mention who these people are, but when asked about how did you find the podcast, I got trying to remember, been listening for years, maybe Mike Smith at the Mike Tech Show. Another one said, longtime listener of Podnuts since Matt was a host with Lalo. So thank you very much for hanging on that long and staying with us. And then here's somebody who actually Google. That's pretty quick. I mean, pretty awesome to say that somebody found us just by Google, because I know that Podnuts is not an easy thing to Google and would not show up in people's podcatchers if they were just searching for tech show or something like that. So we'll fix that. Some things that let's see, what are two or three things we can do to improve the podcast? Okay, here we go. Reviews and hands-on with unique tools, best practices, and or how you run things to keep the business going. All right. Let's see. Production and format seem to have improved. That's a nice little reminder of how crappy I was back in the day. Let's see. A few times the audio of the guest is hard to hear. Yep, I know. More tech, and less legal. I won't say anything about that because Bradley Gross will be coming up on an episode real soon, and he is all about the legal. But I get you. I hear you. Let's see. Get rid of useless banter about non-related stuff like movies or sports. End the Florida man stuff. And have you noticed anything in the show notes this year? Ability to stream audio. Okay. Well, I will say this. I didn't obviously read this beforehand because in the Florida man stuff was kind of a shot out of left field when I actually got a ton of people saying love the Florida man stuff. And one of my guests actually wrote back a while, before they got on, that they actually love the show because we introduce humor into it. So that was kind of interesting. But I will say this. All things come to an end. So this show will not always feature Florida man stuff, but right now it is good. It is working, and I'm going to do it until it doesn't. And thank you in the chat. No useless banter is great stuff. Okay. That'll work. All right. So that's pretty much it on the Summer Tech series. I mentioned that some of the reasons that I had to cancel some shows and why I had time to do this today. There was supposed to be somebody in the slot, but I've been busy. I know a lot of you have been busy. Florida is dealing with a resurging COVID outbreak. I live in Broward County. If you don't know where Fort Lauderdale is, and Broward County has been one of those places where it is going to be a fight as to whether or not kids can wear masks or should wear masks or are mandated to wear masks in school. I'm sure the country has heard about that. Just Monday of this week, Tampa, on the other side of the state, had an outbreak where 5,500 students had to be quarantined because of an outbreak. So it is still going berserk down here in Florida. So I only mention that to say that part of why I have still been busy, I have clients that are trying to get back in the office and they can't. And so we ramp up. I've spent time going to offices, rearranging computers, cubicle, moving people from a cubicle into an office, doing all of this stuff. We get ready to go. And then all of a sudden, one of the staff members has an outbreak, and then we have to change all that up. So we still have people that have been trying to move in and are not. So I will be actually, I was supposed to be in Orlando this past weekend. That got pushed back. I will be going up next weekend. I think that is Friday the 27th. I will be in Orlando because I've got to move some stuff there. So it has been a very interesting time with that. Some interesting stories. I will tell you this. So I did, some of you commented and thanked me for putting up pictures. I put a picture up of my nephew who was helping me run. Well, he didn't help me run the cables, but we had our cable guy come in. We put a nice rack up and did a whole bunch of stuff. But my nephew helped me with punching down the cables and connecting the cameras. And this was a client who, at the last minute, in my case, which basically gave me about a week, told me that they were expanding their suite down from one floor to another floor. They were adding 6 rooms, a conference room, a kitchen, and a call center. So I had to scramble to get my cable guy to run all the cables, and they wanted cameras, and their camera person had disappeared for about 5 months. And I said, we can do cameras. Now, let me explain that no, we have never done cameras before, but I had purchased a while back from Snap AV the Luma surveillance series. So I had that sitting here. I had set it up. I had tested it because I was going to use it for another client that was going to open before COVID. They were going to be a flex desk type of office, so kind of a co-working space. COVID hit. They never opened up that space, so I had the camera system here. So part of why I did that was so that I could get rid of the cameras. So we went over, set those cameras up, and I like the system. For those of you that don't know, IP cameras are pretty simple. Once you get them in with an NVR or DVR, in this case, it's a NVR, network video recorder. It's all IP based. So the cameras just plug in, they get an IP address from the camera system, and it shows up on a television, and I can set up remote access to the cameras. That was actually pretty easy. The one thing, if you are asking about the Luma series, that I think I've figured out is the resolution on the cameras. Most of the resolutions do not match a lot of what the other camera systems are. The camera system that the other gentleman had put in, that was a little bit less expensive. They were 5 megapixel cameras. The Luma cameras that I put in, they were the 110 series, were only 2 megapixels. The client hasn't said anything yet. I don't know if they will. So the clarity is not as great, but the cameras are more. So we're going to see if they if they say anything about that as time goes on. But it was a very easy setup, and don't even need an app. If you're connecting remotely and you're doing it from a tablet or something, usually there's an app that goes along with the cameras. We just put in the IP address and it works. So that was pretty good. My bugaboo this week, one of my clients that did not want to pay for full versions of Office for their people that only used email occasionally, never set up anything with word processing. They didn't do, Word or Excel. All they did was get into their management system, and they just needed to be able to send emails. So they did not want to purchase Office. So we put on Thunderbird, and the email accounts were Office 365. So they had to be set up with Exchange. So Thunderbird, paired with a product called OWL, OWL, allows them to be able to use a 365 Exchange account with Thunderbird. And it's been working fine for about 18 months. Something happened this week where all of a sudden people would open up Thunderbird and their mail would be gone, their accounts, their email, everything. And I have not been able to find a reason for that. So if any of you out there are using Thunderbird and you've run across this, it would be nice to be able to explain to the client what happened, because I can't right now. I've looked, and apparently this has been an issue for years. I saw some web searches that went back 2018, 2017, where it happened, but nobody seemed to explain why. Now, granted, it's simple enough. You just click on set up email account, put in the email address and password, and everything comes right back because it is a 365 account. But of course, users that forget their password or don't want to do it, or just a little bit frustrating when they call and say, my email's gone. So that has been a fun little thing here. And what else have I done? Yeah, nothing really super major. I do want to acknowledge, so Mike Smith has talked about, I think it was the last 2 weeks. So I just started using Synology, as most of you know. I like it. I love it. I use the Hyper Backup with Wasabi, and we're starting to use some other apps. But Mike Smith talked about a vulnerability that came out a couple of weeks ago that allows for remote authenticated users to execute arbitrary commands or remote attackers to write arbitrary files via a susceptible version of Disk Station Manager. So I know that yesterday there was an announcement that is still not official, but Synology has said that there is a fix. If you are using DSM version 6.2, you can upgrade to 6.2.4 25556-2 or above. But all of the other versions, including the new version 7, it is an ongoing resolution. So they have not fixed it in DSM 7. I don't have any on 7. I've got about 8 Synologies that I've put out there already. They're all on 6.2, so I've done those updates. So if you are using a Synology NAS and you are not keeping up with the latest vulnerability, yesterday Synology announced that at least if you're using DSM version 6.2, you can update and get a patch for that. So that is it. All right. I said this would be a short show. I just wanted to get a couple of updates out there, talk about TechCon, talk about the giveaway. And John, what are we doing here this time of the day? So I explained to John at the beginning of the show, this was going to be a Summer Tech Series bonus matinee episode, but we had to do some cancellations. However, I thought that I would come on here and do a special podcast and talk about the Summer Tech Series giveaway, go over the prizes and all of that. So John, you can go back and watch the video again, or you can listen to the audio. It should come out a little bit later. It's not a very long show, but thank you guys for popping in, saying hello. And we will be back tonight. We have a Back to Basics. Suzanne Harris is going to be on, and we are going to talk about employees, tips to hire, fire, and retire. And I think that is going to be a fantastic show. Suzanne is with Nexus Tech, and they are a national MSP. So she's got a lot of HR experience that I think will be good. So that is going to do it, folks. And I hope that you come back tonight. I hope you like the new music. And we are going to say good afternoon. Go make some money. We'll see you next time. And until then, holla.